You know that feeling when you're on a team and everyone's working super hard, but you're just not getting the best results for your client? Well, today, we are diving deep into the art and science of collaboration. We're going to break down how to work together to get those truly exceptional outcomes. Let's just start with this. This is the simple, powerful idea at the very heart of everything we're about to cover. And it's not just a nice thought, right? It's a fundamental truth. When a team of professionals, therapists, teachers, doctors, when they're truly in sync, the client doesn't just do a little bit better, they thrive.
So think of this as your playbook for powerful collaboration. We're going to start with the core mission, the real why behind it all. Then we'll get you set up with a practical toolkit of essential skills. We'll even put those skills to the ultimate test and give you a 6-step safety check for navigating those really tough situations. So let's get into it.
All right, let's build our foundation here. Before we can even think about mastering collaboration, we need to be absolutely crystal clear on what it actually means and, just as important, what it doesn't. Okay, so here's the key difference. Collaboration isn't passive. It's not just about working in the same building or being on the same email chain. It's an active, intentional process. It's about sharing information, really listening to different perspectives, and solving problems together, all with one single goal in mind: making sure the client succeeds. So now that we know what collaboration is, let's actually build our toolkit. These next few ideas are the real, practical skills you can start using every single day to become a better collaborator. Your collaboration toolkit really comes down to 4 essential pillars. First, you need a shared ethical compass that is always pointing towards what's best for the client. Second, you gotta have a clear understanding of everyone's roles and responsibilities. Third, the ability to communicate with real clarity and respect. And finally, number 4, the skill of actually working together as one cohesive team. This really gets to the heart of professional respect. A huge part of collaborating effectively is knowing where your expertise ends and someone else's begins. It's about recognizing that the speech therapist, the occupational therapist, the teacher, they each bring a vital piece of the puzzle. You gotta know your role, and you have to respect theirs. Nothing shuts down collaboration faster than jargon. Look at this. On one side, you've got this technical language that just isolates and confuses people. On the other, you have clear, simple communication that invites teamwork. This little shift from exclusive language to inclusive language, it is absolutely vital. Okay, so you've got your toolkit, you're communicating clearly, but let's be real, collaboration isn't always smooth sailing. So what happens when a real challenge comes along, one that puts all these skills to the ultimate test, like when a colleague proposes a non-behavioral treatment? So what exactly is a non-behavioral treatment? First off, it's not automatically a bad thing. It just means it's an approach that comes from a different professional framework. But because it's outside your core expertise, it triggers this ethical responsibility. You have to stop and evaluate it with extreme care. The good news is you don't have to navigate this all by yourself or just rely on guesswork. There's a really clear, logical pathway, a decision model, if you will, to help you handle this kind of high-stakes challenge ethically and professionally. And here it is, your 6-step safety checklist. It's a logical flow. You start with just understanding, then you move to critical assessment, and you end with a professional judgment call. You identify the treatment, you immediately assess for safety, and then you analyze it from your perspective before, finally, you weigh the overall impact. Let's walk through each one. Step 1. Before you have any reaction at all, your first job is to just listen and understand. What is this treatment precisely? How is it supposed to work? What behavior or skill is it targeting? You just can't evaluate something if you don't fully get what it is. All right, step 2. This is your absolute top priority. It's the non-negotiable first question. Could this treatment cause any harm, short-term or long-term? Could it delay the client from getting a more effective evidence-based treatment? Safety always comes first. Next up is what we can call the analysis phase. This is where you do your homework. First, you assess your own familiarity. Do you really understand this approach? Next, try to translate it into your own professional framework. Can you see how it's supposed to work? And finally, check for interference. Is this new approach going to disrupt the progress your client is already making? And that brings us to the final, and let's be honest, often the most delicate step. You have to weigh the potential harm or interference to the client against the potential conflict you might have with a colleague. It's a really tough professional judgment call. But when you're making that call, the guiding rule is actually really simple. If the negative impact on the client is significant, your ethical duty is clear. You have to address the treatment even if it means having a really uncomfortable conversation. You do it thoughtfully, you do it professionally, but you do it to protect the client. Okay, let's bring this all home. To help make these ideas really stick, we've boiled them down into a few key principles you can use as your own personal field guide. These simple phrases can be such powerful mental reminders when you're in complex, real-world situations. Collaborate for the client, not your ego. That can be a powerful little check-in for yourself. And safety first is always the bottom line. Think of these as your guideposts. And here it is, all on one page for you. This is your quick reference guide breaking down each core competency into its simplest form. From knowing your role to communicating with empathy, it's a powerful summary of our entire playbook. You might want to screenshot this one. So let's end with a challenge. How are you going to turn all this knowledge into action? Because remember, the goal isn't just to avoid conflict. It's to actively build a stronger team for your client. So what's one conversation you can start this week to make that happen?